All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. Mari, remote studio here. Man, say
Trey, right
lady,
here in the Black Media Matters studios.
Black media looks great too. And then man, he's jumping off the wall and everything there. It's fantastic. All right, so this happened last night at the Oscars, and what we'll do, I think we'll play the clip. Should we go ahead and play the clip, Besa? Okay, we're gonna. She said, "Hit me with I don't know your show. Do whatever you want to do." Um, actually, what we'll do is, yeah, let me find it. Do we got it in here somewhere? Is it there? Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it. All right. So basically, what happened last night is, and what you'll see right here is that um, Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith, her hair being bald, right? Said that she was like in the cast for G.I. Jane 2. Remember G.I. Jane 1, Demi Moore shaved her head to be, I think, a Navy SEAL. And you can see like the camera, I was watching it live, the camera, Jada was, she was like, she wasn't feeling it. Will was kind of laughing, but she wasn't feeling it. And what a lot of people might not know is that Jada, she came out, she said that she has alopecia. And so she had shaved her head, you know what I'm saying? And that's an issue she's been dealing with. And so we're going to play this right now, and then we're going to bring in Jada. This was a clip from we're going to bring in Besa. We're bringing Jada too. There's a clip from CBS Morning.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it.
Actress Jada Pinkett Smith was visibly unamused when presenter Chris Rock mocked her shaved head, unlike her husband Will Smith, who was laughing until he wasn't when he marched towards Rock on stage.
Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Rock, who seemed visibly shaken for a moment, went on presenting.
All right.
Oh my God. Whoa, y'all.
You're bringing me in like that. Good golly bobsters. Hey, how y'all doing? But second of all, I mean, I guess that already gave you guys the background on what happened. After that, like I said, he was a little bit shaken up. Ironically, Will Smith did still end up winning Best Actor for the movie that he was in. But rumor is going around that he might actually have to give back his Oscar.
He shouldn't have to give back his Oscar for that. I mean, look, he was defending his wife. She wasn't feeling it. He kind of chuckled at first, but when he realized that she was uncomfortable with it, and because of the background with the alopecia, it's not as if she just did that because of a style choice, right? And so it's like you wouldn't mimic or make a joke about somebody who has a shaved head because they're dealing with cancer and radiation. Like you wouldn't do that. So the idea that, she actually has an issue that said, look, I this is the best thing for me right now because of this medical issue I have. Yeah, it was probably really in poor taste for Chris Rock to even go there in the first place.
Oh, absolutely. I do find it interesting that there's like a lot of, oh my God, I want my man to defend me like Will defended Jada, da 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 da. But from what I've also heard online, there's been a lot of things where people have said that Will was soft over the years. And then you have the whole August Alsina entanglement. In case you guys didn't know, she basically was dating one of her son's friends, and she pretty much had permission to do it from Will. So a lot of people have been saying that Will was a little soft these days. And like Trey said, he found it funny. Wife did not find it funny. Although she laughed for like a hot second looking at the stage, she definitely looked away and rolled her eyes. And I don't know what they whispered. Somebody's joke was, somebody said she whispered to him, Tupac would have never let him disrespect me like that.
Oh, no.
That's why he kind of did that, because he also walked away laughing. But I honestly think that he was laughing because he knew that Chris Rock wouldn't have done anything. He knew that nobody was going to kick him out. He knew that if he was he knew that he was untouchable in that moment.
It's a lot of, so what I see is a few different questions when I look online. They're like, one, would he have went and slapped a white comedian?
No.
That's something I see a lot of. Two, man, what's the implications on this of black women? You know what I'm saying? We keep talking about those two. And three, does anybody even care about Chris Rock? You know what I'm saying? I mean, he got slapped up on national TV.
I mean, he also made a black joke, and didn't he do a whole movie called Good Hair?
He sure did.
He made a joke about a black woman's hair, calling her G.I. Jane when she actually has alopecia. Basically, she has a whole hair condition. And then there are a lot of black women that just genuinely have an issue with growing long hair or healthy hair, typically because we don't know how to take care of it. So for him to sit here and make that particular joke about her, and I'm pretty sure that he knew that she was going to be there, which means that either they wrote the joke for him or he already had that joke prepared. You can't tell me that he was just slinging zingers. Like, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I think you're right too. Oh, here, does anybody care if about him getting slapped? I think there is a lot to be said when you start thinking about the ifs, ands, or buts about this. Again, if that was a white comedian, would Will Smith have felt like he was empowered enough to go up there and do that? I highly don't think so. I highly don't think so. Again, we're dealing with people in terms of Black Hollywood that really have to walk on eggshells in a fine line, because the minute that they do something to disrespect certain people in power, they get pulled. A lot of the stuff, it doesn't matter how big they think they are, there's still a small majority of people who are really controlling things over there. And at the end of the day, if that would have been somebody with stronger ties to all of that power, it wouldn't have happened this way.
Yeah. So basically, a few other people have played into this after the fact. Diddy played into it. We see Denzel and Tyler Perry. It looked like they had grabbed Will Smith to the side and talked to him. Talk a little bit about that.
There's a little bit of video, so basically right after the whole situation, I guess they brought out whatever award it was. I didn't watch it. I just watched it via social media like everybody else did. But when they went to commercial, you can actually see Will Smith's publish list comes out. Tyler Perry goes over to Will Smith to talk to him. Denzel goes over to Will Smith to talk to him. And Denzel basically was like, look, right when you're about to have your biggest moment, that is when the devil is going to test you. He's going to be like, hey, how you doing? Let me see if you actually got it together. In that moment, he definitely did not have it together, depending on who you're asking. Diddy said that he was going to fix the situation at the after party. He actually tweeted or posted somewhere on social media that it was okay, but according to sources, Chris Rock's source is saying that that's absolutely not true, and the two have not spoken. And apparently, right after the situation happened, Chris Rock went straight to his dressing room and was, a little shaken up.
Wow.
Yeah, I bet he was. But see, the thing is, Mom always said there's a time and place for everything. And that joke right there, and people are like, "Oh, it's just a joke." Well, so there's a few other things that are out there in the Twitterverse, and like Trina says, the ifs and bits, ifs and ands. We got an old saying: "If was a fifth, we'd all be drunk," because there's so many ifs out there. But I just think that, man, you got to know who you dealing with, right? It's just like you be downtown and all these jokes that I get, somebody want to call you boy. Oh, I was just joking. You know what I'm saying? Somebody want to disrespect, somebody want to insult. People are like, yeah, it's comedy. But man, you got to know who you dealing with too. You know what I'm saying? Because people try to disrespect me. You know what I'm saying? But then try to play it off as a joke, talking about I ain't got no sense of humor. Like, yeah, you're right. I ain't got no sense of humor for no disrespect. And man, to call out anybody's wife about their appearance, you know what I'm saying? And it's not like Lady Gaga wearing a meat suit, you know what I'm saying? Something that's supposed to, especially like the Met Gala, people go to really get commented on, right? And what they're wearing. These are people sitting over here. This man is nominated for what's Best Actor, which he ended up winning, like you said. Man, kind of minding their own business. And for him to go out there and call out this black woman in this space, you see what I'm saying? To me, it's something different. Like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, on the Punch Out on live TV. But man, I could really see Will Smith one way or another handling that, because ain't nobody gonna sit there and disrespect my wife on national TV and think that it's gonna be all right. It's gonna get handled one way or another.
Absolutely. And this is, to Base's point, even about Chris Rock having, the documentary called Good Hair. I mean, I think it just would have behooved him to be smarter about the decision and make a joke in some other realm, not with Jada, not about her hair. Maybe it was a little riff on Will. You know what I mean? You're right. Instead of going for the wife, maybe you can riff on Will, or something. But the idea of, how jokes can lightweight be considered disrespect, it really is a fine line. And it really does depend on the circumstances, the history, and who you're dealing with. You are right about that. But I think that this right here is one of those things where it's like, man, was it not only poor taste on Chris Rock's part, but also there was probably a whole other way that Will Smith could have dealt with that. And it would have come out just like everything else comes out on social media. Folks would have been able to see, there probably would have been some video if he would have approached Chris Rock at the commercial break and just said, look, man, keep my wife's name out your mouth. Like, this not funny. She's dealing with alopecia. Like, really bad joke, Chris. You know what I'm saying? Like, love you and all the other things you do, but this right here ain't cool. There's definitely another way to do that in a more level-headed way.
Or he could have just yelled at him from the seat. I feel like the whole keep my wife's, MF and name out of your mouth from the seat would have been very sufficient. I'm not mad at him for getting up and defending his wife. It's not my job to tell someone how to react or how to defend their loved one. But yeah, I definitely do feel like there's a time and place. But at the same time, with your wife being offended in that moment, and then him looking over at her, and like you said, we're not at home with them. We don't know what they talk about. We don't know what she cries about at night. So it's very possible that this is one, something that's been bothering her. Two, she was dreading it because the last awards show that she went to, someone made a joke about their whole situation. And maybe that was another moment to where she's like, here we go again, because we don't really know what was said when the cameras actually panned away. So yeah, I definitely think that there was a better way to handle this, but I also can understand that I'm in the moment, and being that he publicly embarrassed my wife, I'm going to ultimately embarrass him publicly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Jada gave Will that look. Oh, men know that look. You know what I'm saying? She gave him that look like, oh, that's funny to you. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Guys know when to act right. You know what I'm saying? She gave him that look. And man, yeah, I mean, the thing is just like on a lot of different levels, man. I mean, if people want to just chalk it up to comedy, but you know what? How Black women especially feel about their self-image and their hair and everything else, man, that's not comical. And that's not comical for every, you know what I'm saying? That's in our comedy club. You see what I'm saying? In our Columbia Theater, or out there with Nate or something on national TV, international TV. You want to disrespect this woman like that? And so, I mean, that's where I'm saying there's so many other things. People make bad movies. Your box office sales lag, things like that. But the personal appearance around Black women, I mean, he just Chris Rock, I think, just, man. I mean, if people don't realize now, they better know. Don't be playing with these Black women, talk about they messing with their hair and everything else. So if you're one of the ignorant, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So look, Besa, before we let you go, what are some of the implications? Like, I mean, what I saw was that the police basically Chris Rock don't want to press charges or something like that, or is Will Smith gonna be able to keep the Oscar?
So we don't necessarily know if Will Smith is going to be able to keep the Oscar or not now. It's kind of just like a rumor from the New York Post and someone that knows the ins and outs of the Oscars. Basically, what he did was like violence and then cussing on TV. So the cussing on TV is like some FCC things. So in terms of the Oscar, we won't necessarily know until the Academy makes another statement. However, they did come out saying that they do not condone violence, and they wanted to what did they say? They said, we congratulate the deserving winners or something like that. So that was mad shade. So we'll literally just have to wait and see. And like you said, Chris Rock does not plan on pressing charges.
Wow.
Yeah. So any other thoughts on this, Trey, before we let Besa go?
I think for me, I think we really have hit the nail on the head here. And ultimately, you guys could see me looking at the big monitor because I'm like, whoa, what? I needed to see that stuff on the big screen and see how all this kind of played out. But the truth of the matter is that, man, all love to Jada, you know what I mean? Dealing with something like alopecia publicly, the way that she is as a public figure, says a lot. And you're right, Besa, when you talk about, we don't know if this has really been an issue for her. Also, too, I think that, we'll see, I guess, over time, if Will's able to keep this Oscar. I kind of think it's really unnecessary for them to try to pull it back because it wasn't about, his character, off the screen. It was about how well he played a character on screen. So I really do think that that's some extra stuff where it's like, okay, you guys can really let that go. But especially if Chris Rock is not pressing charges, I think it's something that they're going to have to work out on their own.
Yeah, what's interesting is that Hollywood makes billions of dollars projecting violence every day into homes not only here in America, but around the world. Seriously. Hollywood is the biggest purveyor of violence, you know what I'm saying, in the world. But JP brought a comment up here and on YouTube, and which we got a lot of people watching on YouTube. JP says, let me put this back up here, is that type of impulsive action is dangerous and causes a lot of crime that we see today. And what I will say with that, what JP hit on, is that although these guys are black, they're rich. You see what I'm saying? And most likely not, it's whatever. They're rich. But what happens, though, at the Safeway? You know what I'm saying? Or what happens there on 29th and Jackson or on Othello or whatever, what example? It don't end like that. It don't end with the publicist. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's over there. It's like, oh man, well, you done disrespected my wife, my girlfriend, and they slap somebody and whatever. It don't end with Tyler Perry coming down there and Denzel being, hey, the devil's watching, and the publicist and everything else. It usually ends with somebody going to get one of them things. You know what I'm saying? And we got people dead in the streets. So I will say that, like, all of these guys really missed an opportunity. Chris Rock really missed an opportunity, and Will Smith missed an opportunity because they're rich. They're going to go home. They're going to be okay. What happens to the young people who watching this? And you know what I'm saying? It don't work like that. And we just saw like years of man, it's the rich white people doing everything they wanted. You know what I'm saying? They get away with it. I mean, these guys is rich black folk. And it don't end like that in real life. And I think that that's something that people should probably remember. What were you saying there, Besa?
I was just going to say, I was actually going to bring up that exact point in terms of, yeah, we can react to things, but in reality, if you were to walk up to somebody at Safeway, let alone a damn Winco child, and, maybe you said something crazy about their wife in the meat aisle, and then you slap them up in the parking lot. Look, there's no security around like that. There's no major media around like that. There's no cameras around like that, which makes it to where, yeah, something like that can truly go left. So what I'm hoping, being that, like O said, they did miss an opportunity here to actually have a conversation like men, I'm hoping that, and I know everybody's like, I'm so sick of red table talk, but I think this would be a good red table talk for them to actually sit down and speak on the situation as men and actually bring something up like that to let people know this might have been how I handled this situation. But just so you know, if you do this in the real world, because yes, Hollywood is the real world, but everything happens a little bit different over there, right? Your outcome might not be the same, just because Chris Rock isn't pressing charges. If you were to do that in Safeway, you might go to jail anyways. So I would love for them to actually have a conversation with this and kind of break that down and maybe even talk about some different ways to handle a situation like that. And also, educate people on alopecia.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. So Besa, tell people before we let you go how they can keep up with you and when they're going to see you again.
I'll be back on Friday. Rewind with Besa pretty much airs Fridays at 10 a.m. You can always keep up with me on social media at Besa Gordon. And on the weekends, Jammin' 107.5, Sundays, B95 in Fresno.
All right, good stuff.
There
see
we go.
You soon, Besa.
Good to see you, Besa.
Besa, man, she stayed on top of that, huh?
Always. I mean, this is a really interesting topic, and to see this play out on live TV, at the Oscars, I don't know if they've ever had something so kind of bold actually happen there. I mean, we've seen different people say things when they're accepting their awards. We've seen this in award shows, people calling other people out. But this right here, it was like a whole break in everything. He just got up, walked right on that stage and slapped him. Whoa, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, and like I said, man, clearly it was real. It was real life, because that's real life that we saw there. But it don't happen like that out here. You know what I'm saying? And that's just really not. I think the example of that is I mean, we see even one step down from that, and we see like all these people who get shot and killed, the celebrities out there in LA, the nightclub, this and that, fight rolls over, and all these kind of things, man. And people should just really want to keep that in mind. And this, man, in every crisis, there's an opportunity. And I think what Besa said there was real deal. Maybe this is an opportunity for these guys to actually settle things like men, and raise some awareness around alopecia.
I want to say one more thing though, too,
Sure.
because I think what she said was really poignant here. Not only that they settle it, but that they do it publicly. Because again, it's really showcasing how the best way to deal with things. And if they do it privately and we don't really get to see, I love the idea of the red table talk and then both sitting down, everybody being able to see how they deal with this on the other side of all this happening, so that we can bring that message out so people can understand, okay, wait, this happened, but they were able to actually settle this amicably and not have to go to any extremes around, any extra violence.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people like. So what Besa was saying, she was like, "Did we see some people like, oh, I wish I had a husband or a boyfriend or whatever that would stand up for me like that." And let me just tell you though, is that, man, the prison is full of people who really, you know what I'm saying, and where their stand up wasn't no slap, it was a strap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's real. Like, man. Anyways,
Yeah, you're right.
It was a good topic to talk about today, because it started off in entertainment, but you see that there's a lot of this stuff that's going on is on the everyday. But we're gonna take a quick break right now, and this would be you, Salman. We're gonna take a quick break right now. When we come back, we're gonna talk about these brothers who are opening up a brewery on the block on 23rd Avenue Brewery. You're watching the Morning Update Show.